When disaster strikes and the power grid fails, your neighbors won't be looking for gold or jewelry. They'll be hunting for something far more valuable hiding in your pantry right now. And if they find it, your family's survival could be over in minutes. In this video, you'll discover the 6 everyday items that will become priceless currencies when society collapses. Items you probably have in your home right now, but aren't protecting properly. More importantly, you'll learn exactly how to hide them, secure them, and use them without becoming a target. By the end of this video, you'll know what desperate people will kill for and how to stay one step ahead. Welcome to Food Decider, where we prepare you for the worst so you can hope for the best. If you're serious about protecting your family when everything falls apart, hit that like button and subscribe, because the strategies you're about to learn could save your life. Let's start with the most critical resource of all, something so vital that you can only survive 3 days without it. I'm talking about clean drinking water. While you might think food would be the first priority, the truth is far more urgent. Your body can last weeks without food, but after just 3 days without water, your organs begin to shut down. Your brain stops functioning properly. Your blood thickens. You die. When the power grid fails, everything changes in an instant. Municipal water systems depend entirely on electricity to maintain pressure and pump water through the pipes. Within hours of a major collapse, those faucets in your home will sputter, cough up air, and then go completely silent. Entire neighborhoods will be left parched and panicking. People will scramble to find anything remotely wet, contaminated creeks, stagnant puddles, even ditches filled with bacteria and parasites. And if word gets out that you have a stash of clean, drinkable water, you're not just holding hydration, you're holding a massive target on your back. Here's what most people don't realize. Water isn't just for drinking. You need it for cooking your food, cleaning wounds to prevent infection, mixing medicines, and maintaining basic hygiene. Without water, even minor cuts can become life-threatening infections. Your supplies will deplete faster than you can imagine. A single person needs at least 1 gallon per day just to survive. For a family of 4, that's 28 gallons every single week minimum. Think about how much space that takes up. Think about how fast it disappears. So, how do you protect your water supply? First, never keep all your water in one place. This is critical. Spread it out across multiple locations, some inside your home, some in a shed or garage, maybe even some buried in waterproof containers in your yard. If someone breaks in and finds part of your stash, they won't get it all. Diversification saves lives. Second, use discrete containers. Those big blue water barrels everyone recognizes, they're advertisements. They scream, "I have water." Instead, use old juice bottles, soda bottles, or other containers that blend in. They don't attract attention, and they're easier to hide in plain sight. Third, set up a rainwater collection system, but keep it out of sight. A visible rain barrel tells everyone you're prepared, which makes you a target. Hide your collection system behind your house or under tarps. And learn multiple purification methods: boiling, filtering, chemical treatment. Being able to make any water safe to drink gives you unlimited resources as long as it rains. And finally, and this is perhaps the most important rule, keep your mouth shut. Don't discuss your water supply with anyone, not your neighbors, not your coworkers, not even extended family unless they're part of your survival group. Casual conversations today become maps to your door in a crisis. Silence is survival. Water is survival itself. Every other item on this list matters, but without water, you won't live long enough to use them. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it absolutely does. Now let's talk about something that will quietly become one of the most valuable items in your home: cooking oil. Most people focus on stockpiling canned goods, bottled water, and blankets, but cooking oil? It's almost always overlooked, and that's a massive mistake. When society collapses, that half-empty bottle of vegetable oil in your pantry will skyrocket in value. Here's why. Cooking oil isn't just for frying food. It's a survival multi-tool. First, it makes food edible and nutritious. Those bland rations and basic ingredients you've stockpiled, without oil, they're barely palatable. Oil transforms them into actual meals that your family will eat. Beyond taste, oil provides essential fats your body needs to function. Without dietary fats, your body can't absorb vitamins, your energy crashes, and your health deteriorates rapidly. But the uses go far beyond cooking. Oil seasons and protects cast iron cookware, keeping it from rusting and making it last for decades. It lubricates tools and machinery when modern lubricants run out. You can apply it to wooden utensils to prevent cracking. In extreme cold, applying oil to exposed skin reduces the risk of frostbite. And in a pinch, cooking oil can fuel improvised lamps or candles, giving you light when batteries die and the sun goes down. The smell of frying food travels far, much farther than you think. In a world where most people are eating cold cans of beans, that smell of hot fried food is like a beacon. It tells everyone within a quarter mile that you have resources, fuel, and oil. And that makes you a target. So how do you protect your cooking oil supply? Start by diversifying the types you stock. Coconut oil has an incredibly long shelf life and can last for years without going rancid. Olive oil offers health benefits and versatility. Vegetable and canola oils are cheap, widely available, and work for almost any cooking method. Stock up on all of them. Storage matters enormously. Keep oil in airtight containers, preferably glass or food-grade plastic, and store them in a cool, dark place. Heat, light, and air are the enemies of oil. They cause it to break down, lose nutritional value, and eventually go rancid. A basement or interior closet is ideal. Hide your extra supplies creatively. Store bottles inside old detergent boxes or tucked behind cleaning supplies. Nobody's going to rummage through your laundry detergent looking for cooking oil. Use spaces that seem mundane and unremarkable. Rotate your stock regularly. Use your oldest oil first and replace it with fresh bottles. This keeps your entire supply fresh and prevents waste. Practice a first-in, first-out system. And when you cook, do it discreetly. The smell of frying food is a survival hazard. Cook indoors with windows closed. Use lids on your pans to contain odors. Stagger your meal times so you're not cooking when everyone else is hungry and desperate. If possible, cook at night when fewer people are outside to notice. Cooking oil will become a survival tool, a valuable barter item, and a lifeline for your family. It's cheap and easy to stockpile now. Don't overlook it. Guard it carefully. Let's move on to something that will become the currency of a powerless world: batteries. When the electrical grid goes down, batteries instantly become the lifeblood of survival. They're the difference between light and complete darkness, between silence and hearing life-saving emergency broadcasts on the radio, between being informed and being blind to what's happening around you. Think about everything that depends on batteries. Flashlights that let you see at night, emergency radios that keep you updated on rescue efforts and danger zones, headlamps that free up your hands for work, walkie-talkies for communication when cell towers are dead, medical devices like blood pressure monitors and glucose meters, even some water purifiers run on batteries. Without power, these devices are your connection to safety and information. Here's the harsh reality. Most people will burn through their battery supply in the first week of a collapse. They'll run flashlights all night out of fear. They'll keep radios on constantly, desperate for news. Within days, their batteries will be dead, and they'll have nothing. That's when they'll start looking for yours. Batteries are small, portable, and incredibly easy to steal. A neighbor who would never consider themselves a thief might pocket a pack of batteries, justifying it as necessary to keep their own family safe. And if they know you have batteries, you become a target. So how do you protect your battery supply? First, never keep all your batteries in one place. Split them into multiple hidden stashes throughout your home and property. If someone finds one cache, you've still got backup supplies they don't know about. Use decoy containers. Take an obvious storage container, put a few dead or dying batteries on top, and hide your good batteries underneath in sealed bags. Most people won't dig deep. They'll grab what's visible and move on. For long-term storage, seal batteries in Mylar bags with silica gel packs. This keeps moisture out and dramatically extends their shelf life. Store them in a cool, dry place. Heat degrades batteries quickly. Invest in solar battery chargers and rechargeable batteries. This is a game changer. While everyone else is hoarding disposable batteries that eventually run out, you can keep recharging yours indefinitely as long as you have sunlight. It makes you self-reliant and far less dependent on a finite supply. Stockpile all battery sizes. Yes, AA and AAA are the most common, and you'll need plenty of them, but don't forget D cells, C cells, and 9-volt batteries. These will become even more sought after because fewer people stockpile them, and certain critical devices only use these sizes. In a post-collapse economy, batteries will trade like gold bars. A pack of fresh batteries could get you a hot meal, a warm blanket, or critical information that saves your life, but only if you've protected them well enough to still have them when you need to trade. Now, we need to talk about cooking fuel, because here's a truth that most people ignore. Your stockpiled food is completely worthless if you can't cook it. Without electricity, natural gas service, or a working stove, even a pantry packed with rice, beans, and canned goods becomes a pile of calories you can't access. Cooking fuel, propane, butane, charcoal, or dry firewood, will become more valuable than gold. When the crisis hits, stores will be cleaned out in hours. Hardware stores, camping suppliers, anywhere that sells fuel will be ransacked. If you don't have fuel already stored, you won't get it. Here's the other problem with cooking fuel. It's loud. Not the fuel itself, but what it does. The smell of cooking travels incredibly far. Smoke can be seen from miles away. In desperate times, smoke means food, and food means you're a target. Neighbors who are friendly and civilized today may show up at your door hungry and desperate tomorrow. First they'll ask politely, then they'll demand, then they'll simply take what they want. Cooking fuel is also portable. Unlike a garden that's rooted in the ground, your fuel supply can be carried off in minutes. A couple of propane canisters fit easily in a backpack. A bag of charcoal can be slung over a shoulder and disappear. Once it's gone forever. So how do you safeguard your fuel supply? Concealment and diversification are key. Don't store all your fuel in one obvious spot like your garage or back porch. Hide it in multiple locations. Some in a shed, some under heavy tarps, some in large bins labeled as something mundane like holiday decorations or sports equipment. Make it tedious and unrewarding for someone to search for. If you're storing firewood, don't stack it neatly in the open. That's an advertisement. Break it up and scatter it. Some behind the shed, some in the garage, some under a weatherproof tarp in a less visible area. Make it look like random scrap wood rather than a prepared stockpile. Learn alternative cooking methods that are quiet and efficient. Solar ovens work in daylight and produce zero smoke. Rocket stoves use very little fuel and burn almost smoke-free. Alcohol burners are quiet, clean, and don't draw attention. Having multiple cooking methods makes you adaptable and less dependent on any single fuel source. When you do cook, do it discreetly. A roaring campfire is an advertisement that can be seen and smelled from everywhere. A low-smoke stove or indoor cooking method is a shield. Cook during times when other people are less likely to notice. Early morning or late evening. Use lids to contain smells. Be strategic. Cooking fuel isn't just about hot meals. It's about boiling water to make it safe to drink. It's about warming your home when temperatures drop. It's about keeping morale up when everything else is falling apart. A hot meal does more than fill your stomach. It reminds you that you're still human, still alive, still fighting. Without cooking fuel, you're on a ticking clock, and that clock runs out faster than you think. Let's talk about something that rarely makes it onto survival lists, but will become absolutely priceless: salt. Most people think of salt as just a seasoning, something that makes food taste better. But in a post-collapse world, salt becomes one of the most valuable and versatile items you can own. It's not just a flavor enhancer, it's a survival tool, a preservation method, and potentially even a form of currency. First, your body needs salt to survive. This isn't optional. Salt is essential for hydration, nerve function, and muscle performance. Without adequate salt intake, your body can't maintain proper fluid balance. You risk dehydration even when drinking water. You'll experience fatigue, confusion, muscle cramps, and in severe cases, life-threatening conditions. In a survival situation where you're physically active, sweating, and under stress, your salt needs increase dramatically. But here's where salt becomes truly invaluable: food preservation. In a world without refrigeration, salt preserves food. It's been used for thousands of years to cure meat and fish, extending their shelf life by weeks or even months. You can salt vegetables to keep them from spoiling. This single capability, preserving food, makes salt worth its weight in gold when modern preservation methods are gone. Salt also has medical applications. It cleans wounds and helps prevent infection. You can use it to disinfect surfaces. Mixed with water, it creates saline solutions for medical emergencies, flushing wounds, treating dehydration, and more. In cold climates, salt melts ice and prevents it from forming on walkways, reducing the risk of dangerous falls when medical help isn't available. And yes, salt still matters for making food edible. When you're eating the same bland rations day after day, salt transforms them from barely tolerable to actually edible. This matters more than you think it does. Morale and mental health are survival factors. Food that tastes decent keeps spirits up and makes people more willing to eat and maintain their strength. Without cooking fuel, you're on a ticking clock, and that clock runs out faster than you think. So how do you safeguard your salt supply? Start by diversifying the types you stockpile. Table salt is essential for everyday cooking and consumption. Rock salt or coarse salt is better for food preservation and curing. Epsom salt has medical uses, including treating infections and reducing inflammation. Stock all three types. Store salt in airtight containers to prevent moisture damage. Salt absorbs moisture from the air, which can cause it to clump and potentially degrade. Keep it in sealed plastic containers, mylar bags, or glass jars with kite lids. Store these containers in multiple locations. Don't keep all your salt in one place. If you're going to barter with salt, do it in small amounts. Don't reveal the full extent of your supply.
Present it as if you're sharing from a small personal stash, not a massive stockpile. This keeps you from becoming a target while still allowing you to trade for other necessities. Salt is cheap and easy to acquire right now. A year's supply for a family costs less than a single meal at a restaurant. But when the crisis hits, salt will become precious. Stock up now while it's abundant and affordable. Now we need to discuss something that will cause instant, widespread panic the moment a collapse begins: medications. Prescription medications will become priceless. We're talking about insulin for diabetics, blood pressure medications for heart patients, asthma inhalers for people with respiratory conditions, and antibiotics for infections. Even over-the-counter medicines like pain relievers, allergy medications, and antidiarrheals will feel like gold when pharmacies are empty and hospitals are overwhelmed. Here's the reality. Modern society is completely dependent on pharmaceuticals. Millions of people rely on daily medications just to function and stay alive. Without regular refills, life-threatening conditions spiral out of control within days or weeks. A diabetic without insulin faces coma and death. Someone with high blood pressure risks heart attack or stroke. An asthmatic without an inhaler can suffocate. This isn't theoretical, it's life and death. Even minor medical issues become major threats without medicine. A simple infection that would normally clear up with antibiotics can spread, become septic, and kill you. A fever that would be controlled with basic pain relievers can become dangerous. Dental pain becomes unbearable and potentially life-threatening without medication to control it. This desperation will drive even the most moral, civilized people to do things they never imagined. A parent watching their child suffer will do anything, lie, steal, threaten, to get the medicine their child needs. You cannot underestimate how dangerous this makes medication stockpiles. If people know you have medicine, especially critical prescription drugs, you become a target for desperate and potentially violent people who see no other option. So how do you build and protect a medication surplus? First, if you're on prescription medications, work quietly to build a backup supply. Order refills early. Don't wait until you're down to your last few pills. Switch to 90-day mail order prescriptions when possible, which often gives you the ability to refill earlier than monthly prescriptions. Talk to your doctor about getting emergency backup prescriptions. Many doctors understand preparedness and will write extra prescriptions if you explain your concerns reasonably. For over-the-counter medicines, stockpile systematically. Pain relievers like ibuprofen and acetaminophen, allergy medications, anti-diarrheal medicine, cold and flu remedies, first aid supplies including antibiotic ointment. These are cheap, legal, and easy to acquire now. When the crisis hits, they'll be priceless. Storage is critical, especially for prescription medications. Most need to be kept in a cool, dry, dark place to maintain effectiveness. For temperature-sensitive drugs like insulin, invest in backup cooling methods, solar-powered mini fridges, high-quality insulated coolers with ice packs, or even clay pot cooling systems that work without electricity. Research how to properly store your specific medications for maximum shelf life. Never, ever reveal the full extent of your medication supply. If you must barter medicine to get something your family needs, present small amounts that make it seem like you have very little to spare. Act like you're sacrificing your own safety to help, not trading from abundance. This protects you from becoming a target. Hide your medications carefully. Don't keep them in obvious places like medicine cabinets. Store them in unmarked containers, old vitamin bottles, food storage containers, sealed bags hidden inside other items. Tuck them into hollowed-out books, bury them in bins of rice or flour, or hide them in spaces people wouldn't normally search. Split your supply across multiple hiding spots. Medications will determine who holds power in a post-collapse world. The person with antibiotics can save lives and demand almost anything in return. The person with insulin controls whether a diabetic lives or dies. This is harsh, but it's reality. Protect your medical supplies as if your life and your family's lives depend on them, because they absolutely do. Let's shift focus to long-term survival, because everything we've discussed so far addresses immediate needs: water, fuel, medicine for emergencies. But what happens when those stockpiles start to running low? What's your plan for month 6, month 12? This is where seeds become absolutely critical. Seeds are the foundation of long-term survival and self-sufficiency. Most people focus entirely on immediate crisis supplies. But seeds are different. They're not just a backup plan, they're a lifeline to unlimited food production. A small garden can provide fresh, nutritious food that supplements your stored supplies. It gives you something healthy to eat when canned goods become monotonous and nutritionally insufficient. And crucially, it gives you high-value items to trade when you need other resources. Here's what makes seeds especially valuable. Heirloom or non-GMO seeds can be saved and replanted year after year.
Unlike hybrid seeds that produce plants with sterile seeds, heirloom varieties let you harvest seeds from your crops and replant them the next season. This means a one-time seed purchase becomes a permanent food source. You're not dependent on stores or suppliers. You control your own food production. But you need to choose wisely. Focus on crops that are relatively easy to grow, have high yields, and store well. Beans are excellent. They're packed with protein, easy to grow, and dry beans store for years. Potatoes provide dense calories and grow prolifically in most climates. Carrots, onions, and other root vegetables store well through winter. Leafy greens like lettuce, kale, and spinach grow quickly and provide essential nutrients. Tomatoes, peppers, and squash round out a nutritionally complete diet. Storage of seeds is crucial. Seeds need to be kept in airtight containers with silica gel packs to absorb any moisture. Store them in a cool, dark place. Heat and light reduce seed viability dramatically. A basement, root cellar, or interior closet works perfectly. Properly stored seeds can remain viable for years, sometimes decades, depending on the variety. Hide your seed supply just like any other valuable resource. Store seeds inside a labeled box of old papers, tax documents, or other boring items that no one would want to search through. Or keep them in unmarked containers tucked into inconspicuous spaces. Seeds are small and easy to conceal. Use that to your advantage. Here's the most important part. Start gardening now before the crisis. Don't wait until disaster strikes to learn how to grow food. Gardening has a learning curve. You'll make mistakes, lose crops, and learn what works in your specific climate and soil. Practice now while you have access to resources, information, and backup food from stores. Learn to save seeds, rotate crops, and build up your gardening tools and supplies. By the time that crisis comes, you'll be experienced and confident. Seeds aren't just about food production, they're a strategy for creating trade goods and establishing normalcy when the world is chaotic. A tomato plant heavy with ripe fruit, fresh lettuce, or crisp carrots are luxuries that remind people of better times. You can trade produce for other necessities. You can share seeds with allies to build mutual support networks. Seeds represent hope and a future beyond mere survival. Protect your seeds carefully. They're small, easy to store, and relatively inexpensive now. But in a long-term collapse, they'll become some of the most valuable items you own. Your future and your family's future may depend on them. Now let's talk about tools, because when society collapses, all of the conveniences of modern life disappear instantly. No more calling a repairman when something breaks. No more running to the hardware store for supplies. No more Amazon deliveries bringing you exactly what you need in 2 days. Tools become the backbone of self-reliance, giving you the ability to fix, build, create, and maintain everything you need to survive. Without tools, you're helpless. You can't repair your shelter when it's damaged by weather or wear. You can't build a proper firewood stack or chop wood efficiently. You can't fix broken equipment or create new items from salvaged materials. You might not even be able to open a can of food if your electric can opener is useless and you don't have a manual one. In a world without services and stores, tools are the difference between capability and helplessness. Focus on versatile, durable manual tools. Axes and hatchets for cutting wood, multiple knives for different purposes, hunting, food prep, utility work, wrenches, screwdrivers, and pliers in various sizes, a good hammer, hand crank drills, and manual saws. These tools don't require electricity, batteries, or fuel. They'll work as long as you maintain them properly. Secure storage is essential. Keep your tools in a locked shed or hidden storage area. Tools are valuable and portable, which makes them attractive to thieves. Someone stealing your axe or saw can cripple your ability to survive. Have duplicates of critical items if possible. 2 hatchets are better than 1. Backup hand tools ensure you're never left without options. Maintenance matters enormously. Keep your tools clean, sharpened, and in good working order. A dull axe is dangerous and inefficient. Rusty tools break when you need them most. Stock up on maintenance supplies, oil for preventing rust, sharpening stones to keeping edges keen, and replacement parts for anything that might wear out. A well-maintained tool can last generations. A neglected tool becomes worthless. In a barter economy, tools will be worth their weight in gold. Someone with a working saw can trade time and labor for food or other supplies. Someone with pliers can fix things for others in exchange for necessities. Tools don't just help you, they make you valuable to others, which creates opportunities and alliances. Tools aren't just objects sitting in your garage, they're opportunities. They represent your ability to adapt, create solutions, and thrive rather than merely survive. Stock up on quality tools now while they're readily available. Learn how to use them properly. Practice maintenance and repair. When the crisis comes, your tools will be some of your most valuable possessions.
Now, we need to talk about something that might be even more important than what you stockpile: discretion. In a collapse scenario, the greatest danger might not be the disaster itself, it's exposure. Once people know you have valuable supplies, you instantly become a target. The key to survival isn't just stockpiling resources, it's keeping a low profile and maintaining operational security. Think about it this way. You could have a year's worth of food, water, fuel, and medicine perfectly stored and protected, but if your neighbors know about it, you're in danger. Desperate people will come asking for help. When you can't help everyone, they'll resent you. Some will report you to others. Eventually, someone will decide to just take what they want. Your careful preparation becomes a liability if you can't keep it secret. Here are the fundamental rules of discretion. First, spread out your supplies across multiple locations. Never keep everything in one place. This does 2 things. It reduces the risk of losing everything if one location is discovered or compromised, and it makes your total stockpile less obvious. A few boxes of supplies in multiple spots looks like normal household items. A massive concentrated stockpile looks like prepping, which makes you a target. Use decoy strategies.
Hide your real supplies under or behind less valuable items. Put a few low-value canned goods in an obvious spot, so if someone does search your home, they find something and hopefully stop looking. Your truly valuable items, the medications, batteries, water purification supplies, are hidden elsewhere, concealed in mundane containers that don't attract attention. Blend in. Use storage methods in containers that look normal. Don't have obvious prepper gear sitting around. Those 5-gallon buckets with food-grade labels, hide them. Store items in regular cardboard boxes, old furniture, or spaces that look like ordinary household storage. The goal is to appear as unprepared as your neighbors. Limit information ruthlessly. Don't discuss your preparations with anyone outside your immediate household unless they're part of your survival group. This is hard. Humans naturally want to share information and warn others, but every person who knows about your supplies is a potential security breach. Casual conversations today become dangerous intelligence in a crisis. If someone asks if you're worried about disasters or if you're prepared, downplay it. Act like you have a few days of supplies like everyone else, nothing special. When you use your supplies, minimize any signs that could attract attention. Cook discreetly to control odors. Don't turn on lights at night when everyone else is dark. It advertises that you have power. Don't make noise with generators or power tools. The less evidence you give that you're doing better than your neighbors, the safer you are. If you must barter or trade, do it with extreme caution. Never reveal the full extent of your supplies. Trade small amounts and present them as if you're sacrificing from limited personal stock, not trading from abundance. Meet in neutral locations when possible, not at your home where people can observe and learn. Keep transactions private and discreet. This might sound paranoid, but it's reality. In normal times, your neighbors are friendly, helpful, civilized people. But hunger, fear, and desperation change people. Good people do bad things when their children are starving. Trust becomes a luxury you can't afford when resources are scarce and survival is uncertain. The art of discretion isn't about being antisocial or cruel. It's about recognizing that you can't save everyone, and attempting to do so will only ensure that no one survives, including your own family. It's about understanding that visible resources attract danger, while invisible resources provide safety. It's about accepting that in a true collapse scenario, the people who broadcast their preparedness become targets, while those who stay quiet and blend in have a fighting chance. Practice discretion now before the crisis. Train yourself and your family to not discuss supplies, not show off preparations, and not draw attention. Make it a habit so that when the pressure is on and stress is high, you'll maintain operational security automatically. This discipline could save your life. Everything we've discussed today, water, cooking oil, batteries, fuel, salt, medications, seeds, and tools, these are the essentials that will determine who thrives and who struggles when society collapses. But here's the crucial understanding. Survival isn't just about what you have. It's about how well you protect it, how wisely you use it, and how invisible you remain. The items we've covered are currently cheap, legal, and readily available. You can walk into stores right now and buy everything on this list without raising suspicion or spending a fortune. But when the crisis hits, these everyday items will become priceless currencies, lifelines, and shields against chaos. The difference between someone who prepared and someone who didn't will be stark and potentially fatal. But stockpiling isn't enough. You need skills to go with your supplies. Learn water purification methods now while you have access to information and can practice safely. Master alternative cooking techniques so you're not fumbling with a rocket stove for the first time when you're hungry and stressed. Practice gardening so you actually know how to grow food when it matters. Learn basic tool maintenance and repair. Study first aid and medical care. These skills multiply the value of your supplies and give you capabilities that can't be stolen. Test your systems before you need them. Actually use your emergency supplies periodically. Cook a meal with your camping stove. Purify water with your filters. Practice rotating your stock so nothing expires or degrades. Find the weaknesses in your plans now, when mistakes are learning opportunities rather than fatal errors. Build relationships carefully. In a long-term survival scenario, you can't do everything alone. Trusted allies multiply your capabilities and provide security through numbers. But choose carefully. Share information only with people who have proven themselves reliable, discreet, and prepared. Create mutual aid agreements where everyone contributes and everyone benefits, but always maintain operational security about the full extent of your preparations. The mindset matters as much as the supplies. Survival isn't just physical, it's mental and emotional. Adaptability, resourcefulness, vigilance, and the ability to make hard decisions will determine your fate as much as your stockpile. Stay flexible in your thinking. Be willing to adjust plans when circumstances change. Maintain hope and purpose even when things are difficult. These psychological factors separate those who give up from those who push through and survive. Start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment or until you have more money. Buy a few extra cans of food each shopping trip. Pick up extra batteries when they're on sale. Gradually build your water storage. Learn one new skill each month. Small, consistent actions compound over time into serious preparedness. The 6 items we've covered today: water, oil, batteries, fuel, salt, and medications, plus the long-term investments of seeds and tools, these aren't exotic or complicated. They're ordinary household items that will become extraordinary in their value when everything changes. The person reading this right now who takes action will have a completely different future than the person who watches this video, nods along, and then does nothing. Society's collapse might seem unlikely or distant, but history shows that stable civilizations can unravel with shocking speed. Natural disasters, economic collapse, pandemics, infrastructure failures, civil unrest. The triggers are numerous, and some are increasingly probable. Being prepared isn't paranoid, it's responsible. It's caring for your family's future. It's taking control of your survival rather than hoping someone else will save you. Remember, in a world turned upside down, everyday items become lifelines, currencies, and shields. Water keeps you alive. Fuel lets you cook and stay warm. Batteries provide power and information. Oil makes food edible and serves a dozen other purposes. Salt preserves food and maintains health. Medications prevent death and suffering. Seeds create renewable food. Tools enable self-reliance. These are your essentials. Protect them with vigilance. Use them wisely. Guard them quietly. Your survival depends not just on what you have, but on how well you secure it and how invisible you remain. If this video opened your eyes to threats you hadn't considered or gave you actionable strategies you can implement immediately, smash that like button and subscribe to Food Decider. We're committed to providing life-saving survival information that helps you protect your family when everything falls apart. Hit the notification bell so you never miss critical content that could save your life. Drop a comment below telling us which item on this list surprised you most, or share what you're doing to prepare. We read every single comment, and your insights help other viewers. Are you stockpiling water, building a seed bank, learning alternative cooking methods? Share your journey. We're all in this together. Check out our other videos for more in-depth survival strategies, preparedness guides, and skills training. Every video is designed to turn you from vulnerable to capable, from dependent to self-reliant. Thank you for watching, and remember, the best time to prepare was yesterday. The second best time is right now. Don't wait until it's too late. Stay safe out there, stay smart, and stay prepared. This is Food Decider, helping you survive when everything else fails.